Good. How you doing? How you guys doing? Is this where you sit all the time? I don't know. I don't look in this spot a lot.
How much of these plays that we're charting has less to do, like 20% to do with whether or not it's completed or incomplete the process?
Say it again. The end.
The process that leads to the end result as important or even maybe more important sometimes.
It's more about the process, I think. I mean, like right now, everybody's in a learning phase. And so to me, what we're trying to focus on is everybody getting enough reps at the core foundational things in our offense so that when we're charting, I'm not charting necessarily. I mean, I know how many completions and incompletions we have because I'm an offensive coach, but that's really not the important part for me right now. The important part for me is are we improving in our protection identification? Are we improving in our blitz pickup? Are we improving in our route technique? For the quarterbacks, are we improving in our read progressions, our throwing mechanics? Like those are the things really that are going to carry us through the entire season. It's not going to be, well, did we hit this today or did we hit that the other day? I mean, eventually, as we all know, we're going to end up whittling down the team and all the rest of it, and those guys will get more reps together. But right now, everybody's taking reps and trying to build our foundation so that we can carry ourselves the entire length of the season, which is really what this time, to me, is all about. He just knows much more about what we're doing. It's less new learning every day, more repetition of things that he already understands. That would be true for, I think, probably every player I've ever coached in their second year in our system. It just, things slow down, things make more sense. I mean, there's things that I was probably telling him to do last year that he didn't quite understand, but I was telling him, hey, try to do it this way or do it that way or make him the mic or whatever, and he was trying to do everything I said. Now he actually understands the why on most things, and that's really the goal for the quarterback is when you're out there trying to, beat defenses on a play-to-play basis, if you don't understand why we're doing something or why you're supposed to make this guy the protection slide here or there, it's a tough position to play. And so the game has slowed down for him. The offense makes a lot of sense. Like I said, there's a lot less new learning for him.
Can you approach anticipation with so many new pieces on offense as you're going forward?
Anticipating right now, like you're talking about in the passing game?
Yeah, in the passing game.
Yeah, that's going to result in some trial and error. We got guys that literally today, ran routes that they've never run here for the very first time. So they're running them for the first time. We're throwing them for the first time. And every coach would love to have about 12 individual periods to start practice so we can practice every single thing that's going to come up in a team period the same day. That's impossible, So we try to pick our spots, work on a couple things a day, try to make some progress there and chop wood. And hopefully, by the end of training camp, we've worked on most things that we're going to need as we go into the season. But there's going to be some missed throws in this phase because we have so many different guys working with so many different throwers on literally some routes that we haven't just practiced yet. So. I think all the guys that have gone in there have had different periods where they've really got themselves into a rhythm. And that's what training camp is kind of about. Every period in practice is not going to go our way. There's different things we may emphasize that may hurt their opportunity to do that, quite honestly. We're running some routes that maybe we're zone oriented and the defense is playing man because that's going to happen in a game. And so here we go. We got to try to get open and win. And we're throwing it maybe to the right spot, but it's a tight coverage play or whatever. So I don't really worry as much about that as I do, are they doing the right thing on the play? And again, throwing the ball to the right spot and trying to give the guy an opportunity. So I think all the guys that have been in there have given us some good periods. And then there's definitely been periods where, we'd like to improve our performance. Say it again? I think it's pertinent that, look, for me, I mean, I was here last year. I got to do a better job, and the quarterback position in general, and they know it. I've told them this since April. Like, we got to play better. Our offense has to play better. I have to coach better. So, to me, like, we're all in the same boat, in my opinion. He's got to do better. Whichever guy's under center in a red jersey needs to perform well. The standard here is high. We want to take care of the ball and score points. And so, whichever guy is under center, that's his job. I see it. You know, I mean, you can just see it, you hear it. And again, I think today is, what is it, practice 7? So we're still growing. You know, we've had one day in pads, which to me, our timing and rhythm offensively is going to come a lot more when we start getting more into padded sessions. You know, you can't touch a receiver in shells, you know, so some of those things are going to happen, and we're going to get disrupted, and then it's really kind of real football, if you will. And so I think, to me, like, we're still grinding through the foundational part of it. Eventually here, when we get into some competitive practices against ourselves, against the Eagles, against the Giants, I mean, we're going to find out a lot about, you know, whether or not we can win on certain things and put groups together and see if they can go out there and compete and make positive plays. I think we've always tried to marry the offense to the personnel that's on the field. Normally, for a long time, we were talking about which tight end was in the game, which receiver was in the game, which halfback was in the game, who was playing left tackle. It's no different with the quarterback. So if you have a quarterback that his skill set's a little different than somebody else's, our job is to try to maximize his ability. And so, you know, we all know Cam can move and do things with the ball that there's a lot of guys in the world that can't do, you know, and so it is what it is. There's things that we'll have in the offense ready to go for that. And like always, there's going to be parts of our offense that we won't run with other guys. So you know, I'm hopeful that we're putting every guy that goes in the huddle in a good position to be successful, which means if there's some things that we don't feel like are really their strengths, we don't do them. And hopefully we're going to pick the right ones.
Do you envision a scenario where you use both of those guys regularly in a game?
We haven't. I've never done that, really, and so we haven't even gotten close to that conversation. So I'm not sure about that.
Cam would be okay with that if you guys did that?
I don't know that. And again, like I said, I think the goal is to get all of them to improve, get close, let them compete, and then, you know, eventually Bill will make a decision on what's the best thing for the team. He's good at getting yelled at, you know, but they all are right now. So, yeah, he probably thinks his name is not Mac sometimes. But look, this is rookies in training camp. And so, you know, there's going to be some good plays, and then there's going to be some plays that, you know, they don't look anything like what we talked about last night in the meeting, you know. And so the good thing about this part of our year as coaches is you can walk off the field feeling shitty about what you did, but ultimately it gives you an opportunity to get better in the meeting room. And when we watch the film, I feel like whether it was a good play and we reinforce it or a bad play and we correct it, there's an opportunity presented to the players to get better. And so hopefully we're presenting the right things and we're teaching the right stuff and we're making progress each day. It's never been perfect in training camp. I mean, half of that is because we're out there playing against good players on defense and they make plays too. And so our coaching staff on the other side is very challenging. And so there's going to be some days and periods where we look better than others. But that's the part of the process that we enjoy.
When different parts of the offense lag, like say you're working on the quarterback, but the offensive line is maybe ahead of them, and the running backs maybe ahead of the quarterbacks. Is it hard to make sure they get it?
I don't really worry about who's ahead of who. Like there's nobody out here, no coach or no group of players out here that has everything figured out right now. So we're just one step in front of the other, hopefully making some progress every day. Some groups may or may not be a little bit more advanced, but right now we got so many guys in the locker room that don't have our system and their jobs mastered that it's just, you know, we got to keep just moving forward.
Final
First question, guys. Why is it important to get Max as much on the field work as he's got, knowing that every rep that he takes is a rep that can't go to somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about this camp is we've really, I'm laughing at Coach Cayley over here talking about iron sharpening iron. You know, the rep count is so high in training camp that we've never given one player at this position all the reps. And so, look, they know, like, they're not going to come out here and get 75 reps every day. So the ones that they get, you got to make them count. You know, if Cam's in there, the other guys aren't getting them. If Mac's in there, Cam's not getting them. You know, if Hoyer's in there, neither one of them's getting them. You know, so it's part of the process. There's no way to build the depth on your football team without giving them realistic reps in training camp. So we can sit here and say, well, man, shouldn't we give, you know, N'Keal Harry all the reps at X? Well, then Nelson Aguilar wouldn't get any reps, you know? So it's really impossible to do that. And our goal at the end of training camp is to prepare the entire team, which means there's going to be a few quarterbacks, a few receivers, a few tight ends, a bunch of linemen on the roster, a bunch of backs. And to me, we don't know which guys are going to be healthy and ready to play week one or not. So we got to do a good job of giving everybody an opportunity to learn and improve in camp.
Thank you, Josh. Giving him a little bit less, though, at times, because of what you said earlier today, which is he's getting it better than he was a year ago.
I wouldn't say, I would just say there's a rhyme and a reason for what we're doing out here. We meet nonstop. And stay late and are in early talking about all that stuff. So there's a rhyme and a reason for all the things we're doing. And hopefully everybody, like I said, is just, you know, one day at a time making progress and moving forward. Sometimes they're going to get a little less. Sometimes they're going to get a little more. Thanks, guys. Yep.